Have you ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly attract wealth while others struggle their entire lives regardless of how hard they work? What if I told you that the difference isn't about strategy, connections, or even talent, but something far more profound that's already within you? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Your eyes finding. This video right now is no mere coincidence. There's a reason you're here at this exact moment, watching these exact words. Has this ever happened to you? That feeling of being divinely guided to exactly the information you need, precisely when you need it. Florence Scovel Shinn, the legendary prosperity teacher, explained that when the student is ready, the lesson appears. And your presence here signals something remarkable. Your consciousness is finally prepared to accept the financial abundance that God has always intended for you. If you're seeing this, God's blessings will bring you large sums of money. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to share might completely transform your relationship with money forever. The truth is, most people live their entire lives believing that financial reality is fixed and immovable, that your bank account, your income, your financial future are all determined by external factors beyond your control. But what if I told you that's the greatest illusion keeping you from the wealth that's rightfully yours? The material world you perceive as solid and unchangeable is actually fluid and responsive to something far more powerful, your consciousness. Those financial limitations you've been accepting as reality exist only in mind, not in divine truth. As Florence Scovel Shinn beautifully wrote, the invisible forces are ever working for man who is always pulling the strings himself, though he does not know it. What you're about to discover might surprise you because it contradicts everything conventional wisdom teaches about accumulating wealth. Most people spend their lives chasing money through struggle, strain, and sacrifice, only to find themselves exhausted and still lacking. They're trying to change their financial situation through force, when true abundance has always been available through a much simpler path. Has your financial situation felt stuck despite your best efforts? Have you worked hard, followed all the right advice, yet still feel like prosperity remains just beyond your reach? This isn't because you lack something or because you're not worthy of abundance. It's because you've been operating under a fundamental misunderstanding about how wealth actually comes to you. The divine has selected you. Yes, you, to receive unprecedented financial blessings. Not someday in a distant future when you've earned it, but right now, in this present moment. Your consciousness is the gateway through which God's abundance flows into your life. And when you align your thoughts with this truth, the floodgates of prosperity must open. But how exactly do you access this divine flow of abundance? What specific shifts in consciousness trigger the release of financial blessings? What are the precise words, thoughts, and feelings that transform your relationship with money forever? That's what we're about to explore. If you're ready to continue this journey of financial transformation, subscribe to the channel now. Each video I share reveals another piece of the abundance puzzle that Florence Scovel Shinn discovered. Your subscription is actually a declaration to the universe that you're committed to your prosperity path. That's what we're about to explore, as I reveal the hidden truth that most prosperity teachers never fully explain. You see, the transformation begins with a profound understanding. Financial blessings come to those who know themselves as already blessed. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances improve, not when that promotion finally comes through, but right now, in this very moment. This mindset shift is so powerful, yet so counterintuitive to how we've been taught to approach wealth. We've been conditioned to believe that we'll feel abundant once we have the money, once we see the numbers in our account. But Florence Scovel Shinn discovered the exact opposite. The secret to attracting large sums of money is to feel wealthy before any physical evidence appears. This emotional alignment creates a magnetic force in your consciousness that draws prosperity toward you with supernatural speed. It's like you're broadcasting on a frequency that wealth can't help but respond to. The universe doesn't respond to what you want or need. It responds to the energy you're already embodying. Think about this journey for a moment. When you plant a seed in your garden, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, provide sunlight, and trust in the natural process of growth. The same principle applies to your financial reality. The moment you genuinely imagined yourself wealthy, even for a brief second of clarity, the seed of that financial reality was planted in the fertile garden of your mind. Florence Scovel Shinn revealed one of her most profound revelations when she taught that your word is your wand, literally creating the conditions of your life. Every thought of abundance you entertain, every grateful feeling about money you cultivate, every moment you speak with certainty about your prosperity, these all water that seed, bringing your financial breakthrough closer to manifestation. Behind the scenes of physical reality, a completely different mechanism is at work. Most people struggle because they're looking at their current circumstances for validation, letting what they see dictate what they believe is possible. But the true masters of abundance understand that the inner world governs the outer. Your internal dialogue about money carries more impact than all your external actions combined. The decisions you make in the privacy of your own mind, whether to focus on what's lacking or what's abundant, these silent choices determine your financial destiny more powerfully than any investment strategy ever could. What if you started treating your thoughts about money as the most valuable currency you possess? When you shift your perspective to see that you're already complete, already whole, already blessed with everything you need to manifest prosperity, something remarkable happens. The desperate energy of chasing and striving falls away, replaced by a calm certainty that aligns you with the natural flow of abundance that's always been available. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic and explore how this principle transforms not just your inner world, but how it reorganizes external reality to match your new financial consciousness. The universe operates through precise laws that respond to your dominant beliefs about prosperity. If what I've shared resonates with something you've felt but couldn't quite articulate, write in the comments, "I am already blessed," and watch how just declaring this truth begins shifting your reality. The universe operates through precise laws that respond to your dominant beliefs about prosperity. These laws aren't random or arbitrary. They reflect a divine intelligence that orchestrates all creation. What many fail to understand is that financial prosperity doesn't arrive through desperation or frantic action. It manifests through divine alignment. When your thoughts harmonize with God's natural state of abundance, money flows into your life with an ease that might seem miraculous to others. This alignment creates a pathway between heaven and earth, between the invisible realm of divine ideas and your visible financial reality. It's like tuning a radio to the exact frequency where the clearest signal comes through. But here's the revelation that changed everything for me. This alignment isn't about doing, but being. It's not about more affirmations, more visualization exercises, or more vision boards, though these tools have their place. The true catalyst is embodying the consciousness of someone already living in unlimited prosperity. Your authentic identity in the spiritual realm is one of complete abundance. The process is about remembering who you truly are rather than becoming something you're not. Florence Scovel. Shinn discovered this profound truth after years of working with people from all walks of life. Those who transformed their financial reality most dramatically weren't the ones who took the most action, but those who most fully embraced their divine inheritance of wealth. Behind the scenes of your conscious awareness, a magnificent preparation is taking place. You are being readied for a financial elevation. And here's what few understand. This elevation rarely happens gradually. When you genuinely shift your consciousness, prosperity doesn't trickle in. It arrives suddenly and dramatically, often through unexpected channels that your logical mind could never have planned. Subscribe to the channel if these teachings resonated with your spirit. I release new prosperity principles every week that build on what you've learned today, creating a complete system for manifesting the divine abundance that's already yours by birthright. The greatest barrier to this financial breakthrough is your attachment to the very struggle you're trying to escape. Every time you tell the story of how hard money is to come by, how challenging your financial situation is, you're reinforcing the very reality you wish to change. This pattern creates a hidden obstacle on your path to abundance that no amount of external action can overcome. The journey toward financial freedom begins with a decision to release the identity of someone who struggles with money. This release isn't about denying your current circumstances, but about seeing beyond them to the truth. God's wealth is already yours by divine right. It's not something you need to earn or prove yourself worthy of receiving. It's your spiritual inheritance, waiting only for your acceptance. This shift in perception transforms your entire relationship with money. Rather than chasing it, fighting for it, or worrying about it, you begin to welcome it as the natural expression of divine love in your life. Money becomes not the goal, but the byproduct of your alignment with universal abundance. And in this relaxed state of knowing, the very opportunities and resources that seem to elude you suddenly appear. Let's examine how this principle manifests in practical terms by exploring the invisible architecture of prosperity consciousness. The universe responds not to what you want, but to who you are being at the deepest level of your awareness. If you're ready to release the struggle and step into divine abundance, type "I release the struggle" in the comments below. This simple declaration can be the first step in your consciousness transformation. The universe responds not to what you want, but to who you are being at the deepest level of your awareness. This principle reveals a revolutionary understanding about the nature of your financial reality. Your bank account is not some fixed, immovable number set in stone. Despite how it may appear on your screen or statement, it is actually fluid and responds directly to your consciousness. This insight shatters the conventional framework most people operate within their entire lives. Florence Scovel Shinn unveiled one of the most profound revelations in her work when she demonstrated that everything you experience in the material world, every dollar, every opportunity, every financial circumstance, is simply the projection of what you hold within. Your financial situation isn't random or arbitrary. It's a precise mirror reflecting your deepest beliefs about money back to you with flawless accuracy. This mirror doesn't lie. It doesn't judge. It simply reflects. When you examine your current financial circumstances with this understanding, you gain access to extraordinary clarity about what's really happening behind the scenes of your prosperity journey. Your bank balance becomes a feedback mechanism showing you exactly what you've been believing about abundance at the subconscious level. The breakthrough moment in this understanding comes when you fully grasp that the world is not happening to you. It is responding through you. This shift in perspective transforms you from victim to creator, from passive recipient to active participant in your financial story. When you look around and see limitation in your finances, it's not because prosperity itself is limited or because the economy is working against you. It's because limitation has become a familiar vibration within your consciousness. This recognition is actually extraordinarily empowering when you embrace it fully. It means that nothing outside yourself has power over your financial destiny. The catalyst for transformation isn't finding the right investment, the perfect business opportunity, or even winning the lottery, though any of these could be vehicles for your abundance. The true catalyst is changing your inner state. When you shift your internal relationship with money, when you begin to feel wealthy, rather than lacking, grateful rather than resentful, expansive rather than contracted, your financial reality must change in response. It has no choice. This is the hidden mechanism operating behind every rags to riches story ever told. The outer transformation always follows an inner one. Consider for a moment what would happen if you spent the next 30 days consciously monitoring your thoughts about money. What patterns would emerge? What stories would you discover playing on repeat in your mental landscape? Most people are shocked to discover just how many limiting beliefs they've been harboring without even realizing it. The path to financial freedom begins with radical honesty, looking at these patterns without judgment, but with the clear intention to transform them. As you replace thoughts of scarcity with genuine feelings of abundance, you literally reorganize the energetic blueprint that your material world is built upon. Let's explore how this principle works in conjunction with another powerful law that governs your financial reality, the law of vibration that determines what circumstances and opportunities are magnetically drawn into your experience. If you've recognized limiting money beliefs operating in your consciousness, share in the comments, "I'm changing my money story," and watch how this declaration of awareness begins shifting your financial energy. The law of vibration that determines what circumstances and opportunities are magnetically drawn into your experience is directly influenced by something many people overlook entirely: your inner conversations. These silent dialogues you have with yourself about money are shaping your financial destiny with more precision and power than any external action you could take. What financial story are you telling yourself throughout the day? When you check your bank account, what's the narrative running through your mind? When unexpected expenses arise, what do you whisper to yourself in those private moments? These aren't casual or inconsequential thoughts. Florence Scovel Shinn revealed a profound truth when she taught that your word is the law in your life. Every word you speak internally about money becomes the architect of your financial experience. The revelation that transformed my own relationship with wealth came when I began to consciously monitor these inner dialogues. I discovered that even while outwardly pursuing prosperity, my internal conversations were filled with doubt, worry, and subtle beliefs in limitation. I was saying, "I want abundance," while simultaneously telling myself, "But it's so hard to come by." This conflict created a divided energy that prevented real transformation. Your subconscious mind is listening to every word of these internal conversations. It doesn't judge whether your thoughts about money are helpful or harmful. It simply accepts them as instructions and begins creating circumstances that match them. Are you speaking of lack or abundance? Are you rehearsing problems or possibilities? Every inner word about money eventually materializes in your experience, creating either the foundation for wealth or reinforcing the walls of limitation. This understanding leads us to the gateway of genuine transformation: wealth consciousness. Financial blessings don't originate from finding the right job, making the right investments, or even inheriting a windfall, though these may be vehicles for abundance. The true source of prosperity is a fundamental shift in perception. All wealth begins as a thought, an inner conviction, before it ever manifests as dollars and cents. The explosion of monetary abundance you're seeking isn't something you wait for as if prosperity is a train that might eventually arrive at your station. It's something you align with by changing your thoughts about money at the deepest level. This alignment happens when you begin to see abundance as your natural state, rather than something external you're trying to attain. Behind the scenes of material reality, a profound principle is operating. Money flows where there's an energetic invitation for it to appear. When your consciousness is filled with thoughts of prosperity, gratitude, and expectation of good, you create this invitation. You essentially become a magnet for financial opportunities that were always available, but remained outside your awareness due to your previous mindset. Consider for a moment how differently you would move through your day if you genuinely believed that abundance was your birthright, not as a concept, but as a felt reality. How would your decisions change? What actions would you take? What opportunities might you notice that were previously invisible to you? Let me show you how this prosperity consciousness connects with another dimension of wealth creation, the powerful law of assumption that instantly begins transforming your financial blueprint the moment you apply it. If you're beginning to see how your inner conversations have been shaping your financial reality, type "I choose wealthy thoughts" in the comments, and watch how this conscious decision starts rewiring your prosperity consciousness. The powerful law of assumption that instantly begins transforming your financial blueprint operates through a fascinating mechanism. The world responds directly to your financial energy. When you revise your inner script about money, when you begin to assume prosperity instead of lack, you're not just changing your thoughts. You're authorizing a completely new financial reality to emerge in your physical experience. This is where many seekers of abundance miss the crucial insight. They approach wealth as something to be chased, pursued, or hunted down. But this very energy of pursuit often keeps prosperity at a distance. The transformation occurs when you realize you aren't chasing wealth. You're allowing the world to echo your new prosperity consciousness. You're becoming the tuning fork that sets the frequency, and everything in your environment must eventually harmonize with that tone. Florence Scovel Shinn captured this principle brilliantly when she taught, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy." This isn't some mystical concept, but a precise description of how reality operates. Your financial thoughts are like boomerangs thrown into the universe. They must return, carrying with them experiences that match their energy. The revelation that changed everything in my own journey came when I witnessed this principle in action. Behind the scenes of my conscious awareness, the universe was orchestrating exactly what I had been predominantly thinking and feeling about money. When I shifted those thoughts, my external reality began shifting as well, not immediately, but inevitably, like dawn following darkness. This understanding leads us to one of the most powerful transformational tools in the prosperity toolkit, the law of financial increase. This principle states that if you cultivate a state of financial abundance within your consciousness, even without any physical evidence supporting that state, life will reorganize itself to match that frequency. The external must eventually conform to the internal. It has no choice. The mindset shift required here is profound. Instead of waiting for your bank account to give you permission to feel wealthy, you give yourself that permission now. You make a conscious decision to embody the energy of prosperity before any external circumstances validate that choice. And when you maintain this inner state consistently, something remarkable begins to happen. Unexpected money, business opportunities, and financial windfalls appear in your experience, often through channels you could never have planned or predicted. People you've never met reach out with offers. Ideas for income streams you'd never considered suddenly dawn on. Your awareness. Resources you didn't know existed become available precisely when you need them. This isn't coincidence or random good fortune. It's divine law in action, the perfect, precise response of the universe to your dominant financial consciousness. Just as water must flow downhill and fire must rise upward, abundance must manifest in the experience of someone who consistently embodies the vibration of wealth. The journey to mastering this principle involves a daily practice of aligning your thoughts, feelings, and expectations with the reality you wish to create, rather than the one you currently observe. It requires a willingness to believe in what you cannot yet see, and to feel grateful for what has not yet physically manifested. Let's explore how this principle connects with another dimension of financial manifestation, the sacred power of your imagination to literally blueprint your prosperity before it ever appears in tangible form. If you've experienced unexpected money showing up after changing your thoughts about abundance, type divine timing in the comments, acknowledging that perfect orchestration that brings prosperity at exactly the right moment. The sacred power of your imagination literally blueprints your prosperity before it ever appears in tangible form. This creative faculty within you is the starting point of all financial manifestation. Yet here's where most people encounter the greatest obstacle on their path to abundance: a fundamental misunderstanding about how financial transformation actually occurs. Most people try to change their financial situation through external efforts while their inner state remains unchanged. They push harder at work, take on extra jobs, fight against circumstances, and worry constantly about money. Yet despite all this activity, nothing substantially improves in their financial reality. It's as if they're caught on a treadmill of effort that never actually moves them forward. What's happening? Behind the scenes is revealing. They're attempting to change the reflection without changing the person looking in the mirror. Your financial circumstances are merely reflecting your consciousness back to you. No amount of external striving can transform your prosperity until you first transform your inner relationship with wealth. Your focus, what you consistently think about, talk about, and emotionally invest in, determines your financial future with mathematical precision. This revelation completely shifts the framework for creating abundance. Instead of asking, "What actions can I take to make more money?" the transformational question becomes, "Who must I become in consciousness to naturally attract prosperity?" This subtle shift creates a completely different journey and, more importantly, a completely different destination. If you're tired of financial lack, Florence Scovel Shinn offered perhaps the most practical advice ever given. Stop focusing on it. This isn't positive thinking or denying reality. It's acknowledging the fundamental law that what you focus on expands. When you continually speak about, worry about, and emotionally engage with lack, you're actually instructing the universe to bring you more experiences that match that vibration. The breakthrough comes when you begin speaking to yourself as someone who is divinely chosen for prosperity. This isn't arrogance, but recognition of your true spiritual identity. When you examine the architecture of your self-talk about money, what words do you habitually use? Are they infused with limitation or possibility, with worry or confidence, with scarcity or abundance? The decision to consciously alter this inner dialogue creates a pivotal moment in your prosperity journey. You begin carrying yourself as someone who walks in financial abundance, not because you're forcing it or pretending, but because you've awakened to the realization that it's already yours on the spiritual plane, simply waiting for your recognition to manifest on the physical. This isn't about denying your current financial reality, but about understanding its true nature as a manifestation of past thinking. When you change your thinking now, you change your experience later. The timeline between inner shift and outer manifestation varies, but the connection is absolute and inviolable. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how this principle connects with another dimension of prosperity creation, the igi, divine nature of desire itself, and what your yearning for abundance is really telling you about your spiritual blueprint. If you've decided to stop focusing on lack and start speaking the language of wealth instead, type "I speak prosperity" in the comments, and notice how even this declaration begins shifting your financial frequency. The divine nature of desire and your yearning for abundance reveals something profound about your spiritual blueprint. This understanding connects directly with what may be the most misunderstood power you possess, your imagination. Most people dismiss imagination as mere fantasy, idle daydreaming about wealth without substance or consequence. But this fundamental misunderstanding has kept countless people separated from the very abundance they seek. Your imagination is not escapism. It is the creative force shaping your entire financial existence. It is the workshop where your prosperity is first designed before it ever manifests in your physical experience. When you truly grasp this principle, you realize that what you consistently imagine about money with emotion and conviction literally begins to materialize in your bank account. This isn't metaphorical, it's the actual mechanism by which all fortunes are built. Behind the scenes of every financial empire, every wealth story, every prosperous life is this hidden truth. Someone first saw it clearly in their mind's eye before they ever held it in their hands. They felt the reality of it, emotionally before there was any logical reason to believe in it. This creative sequence, imagination first, physical manifestation second, is the engine behind every fortune ever built. Yet most people have this backwards, waiting for physical evidence before they'll allow themselves to imagine prosperity. The revelation that transformed my relationship with money came when I realized I was not born to chase prosperity like something separate from myself. I was born to create it through consciousness. Florence Scovel Shinn expressed this truth with remarkable clarity when she taught that your right word, spoken with conviction, creates right conditions. This isn't positive thinking. It's acknowledging the creative power that has been within you from the beginning. The breakthrough in your financial journey arrives when you fully embody this understanding. You are not the servant of economic circumstances. You are their source through your dominant thoughts about wealth. This isn't arrogance. It's awakening to the divine creative power that expresses itself through your consciousness. The economy, the job market, even money itself has no power over you except the power you give it through your beliefs. When you examine the architecture of your imagination, what do you consistently visualize regarding money? Do you rehearse scenarios of lack, worry about bills, or imagine the worst financial outcomes? Or do you deliberately craft visions of abundance? See yourself comfortable and secure, and imagine prosperity flowing to you through expected and unexpected channels. Your answer to this question reveals the blueprint you're currently using to construct your financial reality. And if that reality isn't what you desire, you have the divine right and ability to create a new blueprint through the conscious use of your imagination. This isn't wishful thinking. It's working with the very creative force that shapes universes. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring how imagination connects with another crucial element of financial manifestation, the precise feeling state that activates the law of assumption and brings your imagined wealth into tangible form. If you're ready to use your imagination as the creative force it truly is, rather than dismissing it as mere fantasy, type "I create with imagination" in the comments and watch how this declaration of your creative power begins shifting your prosperity consciousness. The precise feeling state that activates the law of assumption and brings your imagined wealth into tangible form begins with understanding the true nature of manifestation. Imagination is the seed of all financial manifestation. Just as a gardener plants seeds in soil and doesn't immediately see the flower, what you imagine about your prosperity must first take root in the fertile ground of your subconscious mind before it can appear in your bank account. This revelation illuminates why so many people struggle despite their best efforts. They plant the seed of financial abundance through a moment of clear imagining, but then immediately dig it up to check if it's growing. They might visualize wealth on Monday, but by Tuesday they're back to worrying about bills, essentially uprooting their manifestation before it has a chance to germinate. The mistake many make is expecting immediate financial proof before they fully cultivated the prosperity consciousness needed to sustain their manifestation. Behind the scenes of physical manifestation is a gestation period where your imagined wealth is taking form on an unseen level. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this principle deeply when she taught about the invisible preceding the visible. Everything must exist first in thought before it can exist in form. This isn't philosophy. It's the literal blueprint of creation. The transformation of your financial reality occurs when you honor this sacred sequence. Instead of demanding evidence before belief, you choose belief before evidence. You nurture the seed of prosperity with continued attention, emotional conviction, and unwavering faith that what you've planted must eventually break through into visible form. This understanding leads directly to one of the most powerful revelations in prosperity consciousness. The key to attracting money is not to beg for it, but to assume it's already yours. Florence Scovel Shinn called this profound practice preparing for the Yi blessing. It's the mindset shift from seeing prosperity as something to achieve to recognizing it as something to receive that's already been issued in the spiritual realm. When you mentally and emotionally dwell in the state of financial abundance before it appears physically, you create a bridge between the invisible and visible worlds. This is the sacred art of living from the fulfilled state of wealth, feeling the reality of prosperity in your consciousness now, not waiting until external circumstances give you permission to feel abundant. This practice radically alters the impact of your manifestations. When you assume the feeling of wealth as a present fact rather than a future possibility, you're no longer trying to make something happen. You're simply allowing what already exists in the spiritual realm to materialize in the physical. This subtle but profound shift bypasses the ego's striving and connects you directly with the flow of divine supply. Consider how differently you move through your day when you genuinely feel financially secure versus when you feel anxious about money. The decisions you make, the opportunities you notice, even the ideas that occur to you are completely different depending on which state you're embodying. This is why assuming the feeling of wealth now, regardless of current circumstances, creates such a dramatic shift in your prosperity journey. Let me show you how this feeling state connects with another dimension of manifestation, the divine timing that orchestrates the perfect unfolding of your financial blessings, often in ways your logical mind could never have planned. If living from the feeling of financial fulfillment before seeing physical evidence resonates with you, type "I live from abundance now" in the comments and observe how this declaration begins shifting your prosperity consciousness immediately. The divine timing that orchestrates the perfect unfolding of your financial blessings connects directly with Another powerful truth: your imagination transcends your current financial circumstances. This principle shatters one of the most limiting beliefs people hold about prosperity, that your ability to create wealth is determined by your present situation. But your imagination exists in a realm beyond physical limitations. It's not bound by your current bank balance, credit score, debt, or any financial struggle you might be experiencing. Your creative faculty operates according to entirely different laws than those governing the physical world. It creates according to the feeling you maintain about money, not the facts you currently observe. This understanding liberates you from the prison of present circumstances. Even if your financial reality seems completely contrary to your desires, your imagination remains free to envision prosperity with perfect clarity. When you truly imagine yourself wealthy with emotional intensity, when you feel the reality of abundance as vividly as if it were already manifest, you impress this upon the deepest levels of your consciousness. And once impressed upon the subconscious, that image becomes the blueprint that life must eventually shape itself around. Your current financial situation is simply the manifestation of past imaginings that you accepted as true. Your future prosperity will reflect the imaginings you choose now. The revelation that transformed countless lives in Florence Scovel Shinn's work was this hidden truth. The journey from financial lack to abundance doesn't require figuring out all the steps between your current position and your desired destination. This obsession with how is actually one of the greatest barriers to manifestation because it keeps you focused on the absence of what you desire rather than its presence. Do not concern yourself with how financial abundance will arrive. The how is never your responsibility. Your job is simply to maintain the feeling of being financially blessed and to live from that state consistently. As Florence Scovel Shinn beautifully taught, the thing you seek is seeking you. This isn't poetic language. It's a description of how manifestation actually works.